And welcome back, pregame.tv. Ken Thomson again by his lonesome. Nobody wants to do videos with KT anymore. No Chuck Edel. But next week, Dave Koken's going to be sitting in with me. Look forward to that. That'll be fun. Dave and I finished up on First Preview over there on ESPN Radio here in Las Vegas today. Had some fun and look forward to doing videos with Dave. Chuck's schedule has gotten a little bit out of control, so he is much relegated to the office doing a lot of the college and NFL breakdowns. And that's what we're going to hit, some college football, some NFL football as well in the next two videos. This one will be a college play. It'll concern Oregon at home in the biggest game of the week at Autzen Stadium, taking on the Michigan State Spartans. Spartans, of course, last year, huge step up as far as what they were able to do in the postseason, going to the Rose Bowl, taking out a very good Stanford team in one of the most exciting postseason games of the year. And this is a contrast in styles, to say the least. And what team has Oregon struggled with over the years in the Pac-12? The big physical boys from Palo Alto, the Stanford Cardinal. Michigan State, a team, I don't want to say blueprinted from that team, but a similar style of play, a team that likes to run the ball, takes care of the football, tries not to turn it over, good solid defense. I think defensively probably more speed than any other team in the Big Ten, and that's what makes them dangerous. They did lose some key quality components to that defense, but they still have a pretty good nucleus coming back under Mark D'Antonio. Connor Cook also stepped up big time in that Rose Bowl, grew up a little bit, looked forward to him having a nice year at the helm again, running the quarterback position. And Jeremy Langford, also out of the backfield, over 1,300 yards last year. We know he is dynamic. Both those guys against Jacksonville State in the opener in East Lansing, a little bit banged up. Cook took a shot on the knee, and Langford twisted the ankle a little bit. But both are ready to go. Both have been cleared, and that is Michigan State's only concern there, some minor injuries. For the Oregon Ducks, as far as the medical report, they lost Johnstone prior to the opening game. Tyler Johnstone, solid part of that offensive line. He is out for the year. But talking to Jerry Allen, the voice of the Oregon Ducks, Jerry told me there was more depth on this offensive line than any other position there for Oregon. Jerry also said, even though Michigan State is a bigger team, he thinks that this game will be very closely contested. And the way Oregon rolls everybody at Autzen Stadium, he doesn't think that'll be the case in this game. So a guy that knows the Ducks inside out, wide receiver Addison, not going to play. He's the only guy back from last year that really had a super year. Another receiver, over 40 catches. But other than that, nobody else coming back to the season from that side of the ball for Oregon as far as the receiving core, catching more than 5 passes last year. The backfield's loaded. They do lose DeAnthony Thomas, but you bring in a Byron Marshall. Marshall last week in the game against South Dakota, just ridiculous numbers. 8 rushes, 90 yards, but 8 receptions, 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 14 for 20, 267, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Rushed the ball another 6 times for 43 yards and a touchdown. You're saying, well, that's not really Marcus Mariota impressive numbers like we've seen when he was going for it last year before he injured the knee. Well, that's because that was only 30 minutes of action. He did not play the second half. They brought in Jeff Locke. Locke actually went 11 of 12 for 113, and he threw a touchdown as well. Allen, Lowe, Stanford, these are the guys you got to look to as far as from that Oregon receiving core to step up. And then that offensive line, it's still a darn good one, one of the best in the country. And Grassu, the center, may be the best center in the country. And a little different offensive line than what we see from a big team in the Big Ten like Wisconsin, where they have the big 310-pounders. Oregon, not as big, but much more agile. And their guys get out. They'll do a lot of pulling. They'll do a lot of rolling out, things like that with Mariota. And they'll get out there and they'll make those key blocks. They're very agile. And you'll see their guys, closer to the 290, 285. And again, guys with good solid speed. They still have some big boys, and they are able to protect Mariota. And he doesn't need a lot of protection because he gets outside the pocket and makes things happen. I think he's the best quarterback in the country if he can stay healthy. I think Oregon's got an outstanding shot to get to that Final Four. As far as the defense, Washington, outstanding defensive end for the Ducks. Malone, great linebacker. And then Ekbri Alamu, he was out the first game against South Dakota, but he will play in this game. And they'll need him because there is no doubt that Lippett and company present some problems for the Oregon cornerbacks as well as the secondary. McGarrett Kings Jr., who was injured, he will play in this game. Mumphrey, Arnett, there's some good solid receivers there for Michigan State. The line on this game came out early when they had all the lines for the year, was 13, went up to 13.5 briefly, back down around, seeing pretty much 11.5s and 12s all over Vegas right now. I got the 13, and that's the best number, and that's what I'm going to look at. In fact, while I'm at it, might as well make the play official. All right, you can tell missed a little bit last week, but definitely want to get it out there. I am going to be on Michigan State, and you can't always judge a book by its cover. The same Michigan State team that we saw play against Stanford in the Rose Bowl, yes, that looks good, but you don't always get that same team playing that same way all the time. And again, contrast in styles, different matchup. We know the ruckus environment of Autzen Stadium, one of the best in the country. However, the Ducks have lost the last couple of years there when they've had a chance to get to that national title game. They lost to Southern Cal a couple of years ago, then they lost to Stanford last year. So Stanford has really been the bugaboo, the team that really plays Oregon better than anybody else in the Pac-12. And again, this Michigan State team, they look like a team that is similar. And I'm not saying they win the game at Autzen Stadium. I think it'll be a very close game. I think they have a chance to win if they don't turn the ball over. If they don't turn the ball over, I think at least they cover the 13-point spread. So that's going to be my play here at pregame.tv. I'm going to take the Michigan State Spartans. I got it at 13. It went up to 13.5 briefly, but like I said, pretty much everywhere in here in Las Vegas, 11.5s and a bunch of 12s still left for Saturday's game. It's the marquee matchup, that and USC Stanford, which would be a great one inside the Pac-12. That's from Palo Alto. But again, my play, pregame.tv, give me Michigan State going to Autzen Stadium to cover the game against the Oregon Ducks plus the 13. I'll come back. I'll have an NFL game. I'll look at the Jets hosting the Oakland Raiders. And, of course, Derek Carr going to make his first start there. I wanted to say David Carr, but it is Derek Carr, his kid brother. It's going to make the start there for the Silver and Black. We'll do that when we come back. Pregame.tv.